Chosen one. You did not arrive here by chance. Heaven aligned this moment with precision, drawing you into a divine appointment that your spirit has been waiting for. Even now, something holy is shifting around you. You are standing at the threshold of a supernatural financial breakthrough, a divine wealth transfer ordained before you were born. Anointed one, the heavens are opening over your life tonight. What was delayed is being released. What was locked is being unlocked. As it is written, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Let your spirit awaken, for this is the hour your transformation begins." Chosen one. Something in your spirit already knows why you are here. You can feel it, that quiet pull, that inner vibration, that sense that you are standing on the threshold of a night unlike any other. I want you to breathe for a moment and let that truth settle into your chest. You did not arrive here because of curiosity, coincidence, or convenience. You arrived because heaven scheduled this moment long before you ever pressed play. You arrived because the Spirit has stirred the atmosphere around your life, preparing you for a crossing that will mark you forever. I speak to you as someone who has walked through dark nights and silent seasons, someone who has tasted the ache of waiting and the weight of unanswered questions. I know what it feels like when life stretches you to the very edges of your endurance. I know the shaking that comes before clarity breaks through. And because I have lived these moments, because I have stood exactly where you are standing, I can tell you with certainty what is coming for you tonight is not ordinary. It is not small. It is not symbolic. It is a divine shift with the power to rewire the course of your life. Chosen one. A supernatural movement has already begun inside you. You may not see it with your physical eyes yet, but your spirit has already sensed the shift. That internal heat, that stirring, that sudden awareness, it is heaven signaling that the old cycle has reached its expiration and the new season has begun. I want you to understand something sacred. Heaven never sends a stirring without sending a purpose. The uneasiness you have felt recently is not instability, it is spiritual induction. It is the Father calling your name. There are moments in life that feel like a gentle nudge, and then there are moments that feel like a holy summons. Tonight is a summons. You are being called into alignment with a divine blueprint hidden within you since before your birth. You were not made for stagnation. You were not made for cycles that drain your energy and silence your spirit. You were created to carry glory, to walk in authority, to manifest divine brilliance in ways that bless not only your life, but the lives connected to your future. Anointed one. This is heaven's timing, not yours. You may feel behind in life. You may feel like opportunities have slipped through your fingers or like life moved forward without you. But listen closely. God's timeline is not measured by your delays. It is measured by His intention, and His intention for you is unfolding right now. The scripture says that God makes all things new, and though I will not quote excessively, I will say this when the Spirit whispers now, no force on earth or hell can say later. You are stepping into a moment that carries the weight of divine acceleration. This is not simply a spiritual awakening. It is a convergence, heaven touching earth, destiny, touching preparation, purpose, touching readiness. There are doors that remained closed for you until now, not because you were unworthy, but because heaven was waiting for this alignment. You are not late. You are right on time. I want to speak to something deeper in you, something only you and God truly understand. For a long time, you have been carrying invisible weight. The weight of what you've endured, the weight of trying to stay strong, the weight of silent battles fought in the privacy of your soul. people saw your smile, but they never saw the trembling beneath it. They heard your voice, but they never heard the prayers you whispered through tears. They witnessed your perseverance, but never witnessed the moments you almost collapsed. Chosen one, heaven saw all of it. And tonight is heaven's response. There is a divine exchange happening right now. The pressure that once felt like it was crushing you is becoming the very pressure that is positioning you. The spiritual fatigue you've been wrestling with is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of transition. When a season is ending, it always feels heavy. When a new identity is emerging, the old one resists. But nothing about this discomfort means defeat. It means you are being transformed. Think of your spirit like a dormant seed in the ground. For a long time it looks buried, forgotten, unseen. But when the season shifts, when the rain reaches the soil, the seed wakes up. It pushes upward, breaking through layers of earth that once restrained it. That breaking can feel violent. It can feel confusing, but it is necessary for emergence. That is you. You are breaking through. And I want to say this gently but truthfully, there are parts of your life that cannot go with you into this next season. Old thought patterns, old fears, old relationships rooted in your former self. Heaven is not stripping you, heaven is lightening you. You cannot carry weight that does not belong to the elevation you are stepping into, and maybe you've been feeling that. Maybe people have been drifting away. Maybe things that used to bring comfort now feel unfamiliar. That is a sign, a divine one. Tonight, a holy realignment begins. Your mind, your emotions, your spiritual sensitivity, all of it is tuning to heaven's frequency. What once felt chaotic will start to make sense. What once felt heavy will begin to lift. The confusion that has clouded your path will start dissolving as clarity rises like a dawn inside you. Chosen one, you are not being undone, you are being unveiled, and this is only the beginning. Chosen one, as this sacred night unfolds, I need you to understand something essential. Transformation does not just happen to you, it happens through you. Heaven is not merely placing something on your life. Heaven is activating something within your life. Something ancient, something holy, something that has waited for years beneath the weight of your experiences. This is why you have been feeling that internal shaking, why certain moments have felt strangely intense, why your emotions have risen and fallen like waves. You are not unstable, you are being awakened. There is a frequency, a rhythm, a divine pulse that has always been yours. It is the echo of the identity God placed within you long before your first breath. Most people live their entire lives without ever accessing that part of themselves. But you are different. You always have been. Even in your childhood, you sensed things before others did. You felt the atmosphere shift in a room. You discerned things that others ignored. You carried empathy that felt heavier than your years. These were not flaws, these were indicators. Evidence that heaven marked you early, and now anointed one. The very gifts you once questioned are the same gifts heaven is amplifying. You will begin to notice this in subtle ways, a sharpened intuition, a clarity that feels supernatural, a peace that feels out of place compared to past storms. You might even find yourself drawn to silence more than usual, because silence is where your spirit can finally hear the whispers that were drowned out by the noise of your old life. Tonight marks the beginning of that clarity. But let me tell you something that most won't say out loud. Awakening often begins with disruption. Before God aligns you, He dislodges you. Before He elevates you, He empties you. Think of a room being renovated. Walls must be torn down, old flooring pulled up, old structures dismantled so new foundations can be laid. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, But without the tearing, there is no transformation. Chosen one, that discomfort you've been feeling is evidence that heaven has begun the renovation. Over the last months, maybe even the last years, you have walked through experiences that felt like stripping. Friendships dissolved, opportunities slipped away, relationships changed shape. Things you tried to hold on to simply refused to stay. You may have blamed yourself. You may have thought something was wrong with you. But what if I told you nothing was wrong with you? Everything was right on schedule. You see, divine alignment requires divine subtraction. Heaven will remove anything that threatens your next season, even if you begged for it to remain in your current one. Some people couldn't stay because their presence would have polluted your breakthrough. Some environments had to shift because they were draining the energy required for your elevation. Some doors closed because walking through them would have led you into cycles God freed you from. You weren't being abandoned, you were being filtered. And when God filters your life, it is never loss, it is preparation. But let me bring this to a very human place, because I know what that feels like. I know what it's like to watch people fade from your life and wonder if you did something wrong. I know the sting of unanswered messages, the silence of people you cared for, the sudden distance from those you thought would walk with you for the long journey. It hurts, it confuses, it shakes the soul. Yet here is the truth heaven whispered to me in my own season of loss. Some connections are not broken, they are completed. When a season ends, clinging becomes bondage. Release becomes freedom. And right now, heaven is freeing you. You may not realize it yet, but the people who walked away did you a favor. They made room. Room for connections that resonate with your spirit. Room for opportunities that align with your purpose. Room for blessings that would have suffocated under the weight of the wrong relationships. Heaven never subtracts without preparing to multiply. That is part of the transformation happening tonight. Another sign you are in divine transition is the internal stretching. You might feel restless even when nothing is wrong. You might feel spiritually hungry even when you are praying more. You might feel emotionally sensitive even when you are usually steady. You might feel like life is moving too slowly, yet too quickly at the same time. These are symptoms of spiritual expansion. You are outgrowing your old life. Just as a snake sheds its skin when the old layer becomes too tight, your spirit sheds old identities when they no longer fit. And shedding doesn't feel elegant. It feels raw, vulnerable, messy. But it is necessary. Because what God is awakening in you cannot fit inside the limitations you used to live with. Anointed One, I want you to lean into this truth. You are not falling apart. You are falling forward. Forward into the version of yourself that heaven has been building, shaping, whispering into existence. Forward into a life that reflects who you truly are rather than who you had to be to survive past seasons. Forward into clarity, power, purpose, and divine authority. There is so much more ahead of you than behind you, and tonight is the hinge, the holy turning point. What you feel right now, the stirring, the pull, the pressure, is heaven telling you you're ready. Maybe you don't feel ready in your mind. Maybe you don't feel qualified in your skills. Maybe you don't feel strong in your emotions. But God is not elevating your feelings. God is elevating your identity. He chose you long before you ever chose Him. And when heaven chooses you, everything changes: the timing, the direction, the relationships, the atmosphere, the opportunities. Even the spiritual realm responds differently. You will begin to notice divine alignment where there used to be resistance. You will sense open doors where there used to be barriers. You will walk with a confidence that is not arrogance, but awareness of who walks with you. Chosen one. This is the moment where the old you loosens its grip and the true you begins to rise. And we are only getting started. Chosen one. As you move deeper into this sacred unfolding, I want you to recognize something quiet but profound. Your spirit is beginning to breathe again. For a long time, your inner world felt compressed, pressed down by expectations, disappointments, and the exhausting responsibility of staying strong, even when something inside you was breaking. But tonight, something is loosening, something is opening. Something ancient within you is rising like light, pushing its way through deep waters. And whether you realize it or not, this is what divine transformation feels like in its earliest stages, subtle, gentle, yet unmistakable. Your soul always knows when heaven begins to touch it. And heaven is touching you now. Lately, you may have felt drawn away from certain environments or people without fully understanding why. It's as though the noise around you suddenly became heavier. Conversations you once enjoyed started to feel shallow, and places that once felt familiar now seem misaligned. This is not withdrawal, it is refinement. Heaven changes your appetite before it changes your assignment. When God elevates your spirit, He shifts what you hunger for. You stop craving what fed the old you because it no longer nourishes the emerging version of you. You're not losing interest, you're gaining clarity, and clarity is the first sign of divine alignment. Chosen one. You are entering a season where you will no longer be able to stay in spaces that cannot hold your calling. The rooms you tolerated before will start to feel too small. The conversations you entertained will no longer resonate. Even the roles you used to play will feel like clothes that no longer fit. You are not becoming distant or cold. You are not acting different. You are growing. And growth always creates distance between who you were and who you are called to become. Every transformation requires shedding. Every rising requires release. And what is leaving your life right now is not punishment, it is pruning. Heaven is preparing space for what must come next. But pruning doesn't always feel holy while it's happening. It feels like loss. It feels like confusion. It feels like something familiar is being taken from you before you feel ready to let it go. I understand this deeply. I've lived it. I know what it feels like to watch relationships shift without warning, to feel doors close without explanation, and to wonder why something that once felt right suddenly feels misaligned. For a long time, I thought something was wrong with me. I questioned myself, blamed myself, doubted my own worth. Only later did I realize that what felt like abandonment was actually divine filtering. God was not subtracting, He was protecting. He removes before He restores. He strips before He strengthens. He empties before He fills. And He is doing exactly that in your life now. The discomfort you're feeling is the discomfort of spiritual surgery. Heaven is cutting away what cannot survive your next chapter. You will look back and understand why certain people couldn't stay, why certain habits had to break, and why certain good things were never meant to carry you into a great destiny. What's leaving you now is not loss, it is liberation. Another sign that you're in divine transition is the emotional intensity you've carried lately. When heaven stirs your spirit, everything buried comes to the surface. Memories, wounds, questions, unprocessed grief. This rise is not regression, it is release. You cannot carry old pain into new purpose. You cannot walk into divine alignment while dragging emotional chains behind you. Those tears you've cried recently weren't weakness, they were purification. That heaviness you felt wasn't depression. It was old weight breaking off. That moment you felt something inside you shift wasn't anxiety. It was bondage collapsing. Chosen one healing is rarely quiet. Transformation is rarely gentle, but both are sacred. Another shift you may have noticed is heightened sensitivity spiritually, emotionally, and intuitively. You sense things before they happen. You discern tension in rooms others call normal. You feel spiritually alert, like your inner world is listening more closely. This is not overthinking. This is not being too emotional. This is spiritual intelligence awakening. It is your anointing stretching its wings. When God elevates someone, He first sharpens their perception. Where you are going requires deeper awareness, sharper instincts, and a stronger connection to the Holy Spirit. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a sign of activation. Heaven is tuning your senses to its frequency so you can hear what others miss, see what others overlook, and move where others hesitate. All the intensity you feel, the restlessness, the hunger, the emotional tides is not a breakdown. It is expansion. You are outgrowing the space where your old self once lived. You will notice it in the smallest ways. Old habits start to feel hollow. Old coping mechanisms no longer work. Old dreams feel too small. Old fears lose their grip. Even your inner dialogue begins to shift. You start choosing peace over reactivity, clarity over noise, intuition over insecurity. This is the evidence that the true you, the anointed, awakened, aligned version of you, is emerging. Chosen one tonight is not just another night. It is a threshold, a hinge, a turning point. And everything you're feeling, the pressure, the shifting, the clarity, the discomfort, the hope, is heaven saying you're ready. You may not feel ready in your mind. You may not feel ready in your emotions, but your spirit is ready. Your destiny is ready. Heaven is ready. You are stepping out of the shadows of who survival made you, and you are rising into the light of who God created you to be. And this transformation is only beginning. Chosen one. As this divine transformation deepens, something extraordinary is beginning to happen inside you. Your identity is being rewritten, not with new information, but with ancient truth. This is the part of awakening where you no longer measure yourself by what has happened to you, but by what heaven has spoken over you. Your old self was shaped by survival, disappointment, and the expectations of others. But your true self, the one heaven authored, is shaped by purpose, power, and divine intention. And that true self is rising now. You may feel a strange mix of emotions during this season. One moment you feel confident, the next moment uncertain. One moment hopeful, the next moment overwhelmed. But hear me clearly, these fluctuations are not a sign of instability. They are signs of transition. When a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it enters a stage where everything inside dissolves before it restructures. If you were to look at it mid-transformation, you would think it is falling apart, yet it is becoming what it was always destined to be. That is you in this moment, dissolving the old so the new can emerge. There is a tension you may have felt lately, the kind that pulls at your emotions and your thoughts. That tension is not meant to break you, it is meant to stretch you into new capacity. Heaven is enlarging your spirit for what you are about to carry. The blessings coming toward you require a version of you that can sustain them. The opportunities being prepared for you require clarity, strength, and spiritual maturity. So the stretching you feel is not punishment, it is preparation. Anointed one. One of the greatest misconceptions about divine elevation is that it feels glamorous. It doesn't. It feels like losing your appetite for what you once wanted. It feels like outgrowing people you once admired. It feels like disconnecting from habits you once relied on. It feels like being pulled away from anything that cannot sustain your next season. Elevation rarely looks like rising, it often looks like releasing. But do not fear the release. What leaves your life now is not meant to be part of your destiny. God is not stripping you. God is freeing you. Freeing you from attachments that would have limited your expansion. Freeing you from people who could not carry the weight of your calling. Freeing you from identities that no longer reflect your truth. Freeing you from patterns that kept you small. You are not losing anything necessary, you are being positioned for something divine. Another sign that this transformation is real is the growing stillness inside you. Even if your external world feels chaotic, your inner world is beginning to experience moments of calm that do not make sense. This is the peace that surpasses understanding, the peace that is not dependent on your circumstances, but anchored in your spirit. When heaven begins to settle inside you, peace becomes your new baseline. You no longer respond to life with fear. You no longer cling to outcomes. You no longer force what is falling apart. You begin to trust, you begin to surrender, you begin to allow, and in this surrender, something powerful begins to unfold: clarity. The fog that once clouded your decisions starts to lift. The confusion that once paralyzed you starts to dissolve. The doubts that once sabotaged you start to lose their voice. You begin to see, with spiritual eyes, not just what is happening around you, but what is happening within you. You realize that nothing in your past was wasted. Every heartbreak refined you. Every delay redirected you. Every disappointment trained you. Every loss awakened something deeper. Everything was preparation. Chosen one. Your life has not been random. Your path has not been meaningless. Every season you endured was a setup for the season you are entering now. You survived storms that were meant to drown you. You walked through fires that were meant to consume you. You stood through nights that were meant to break you. And because you stayed, because you kept moving, because you kept believing, even when your faith was trembling, heaven is now responding. What is awakening in you is not small, it is not temporary, it is not symbolic, it is destiny unfolding in real time. This is why you've been sensing a shift in your desires. You're no longer attracted to chaos. You're no longer entertained by drama. You're no longer fueled by fear. The things that once excited you feel hollow now because you've grown too wise, too deep, too spiritually aware to settle for anything less than what aligns with your calling. Your soul is craving purpose, peace, truth, expansion. This craving is not a phase, it is evidence of elevation. And hear me, anointed one. The spiritual power rising inside you is not imagination. Your intuition is sharpening. Your discernment is becoming precise. Your dreams are becoming clearer. Your inner voice is becoming louder and more authoritative. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven is activating gifts you didn't even know you carried. You are becoming spiritually magnetic. The right opportunities, the right people, the right resources, the right timing, they are all beginning to move toward you, not because you chase them, but because your frequency is rising. Destiny aligns with those who are aligned with themselves. Chosen one, you are stepping into a level of clarity, strength, and identity that will change everything, and this is only the beginning of what heaven is preparing to reveal. Chosen one. As you move further into this divine awakening, something even more profound is beginning to unfold. Your spirit is reclaiming territory that life once tried to steal from you. This phase of your transformation is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before the world placed its hands on you, before the disappointments, before the betrayals, before the heartbreak, before the voices of doubt and comparison whispered lies into your soul. Heaven is now restoring the original blueprint, the version of you that carried confidence without fear, vision without confusion, and purpose without hesitation. This part of the journey can feel strange because it is both deeply spiritual and deeply practical. You will notice shifts, not only in your thoughts and emotions, but in the way your body responds to the world. Your energy will feel different. Your inner pace will change. You will catch yourself pausing before reacting, thinking before speaking, discerning before agreeing. This is spiritual maturity rising. You are no longer moving impulsively. You are moving intentionally. That alone is evidence that heaven is rebuilding you from the inside out. But with this rebuilding comes something that many people don't realize: a divine sensitivity to truth. As your spirit becomes clearer, anything false becomes harder to tolerate. You begin to see through people's intentions more quickly. You detect dishonesty without needing explanation. You sense spiritual misalignment the same way your body senses danger. This is not cynicism, it is discernment. And discernment is one of heaven's ways of protecting you during elevation. Chosen one, you cannot rise without awareness. You cannot walk into destiny blind. You cannot carry the anointing on your life while ignoring the spiritual realities around you. That is why God is sharpening your senses. He is preparing you to navigate the season you prayed for. Blessings require clarity. Breakthrough requires discipline. Elevation requires eyes that see beyond the surface. And with this clarity comes an unexpected form of peace, a peace rooted not in circumstances, but in identity. You are becoming grounded in who you truly are. You no longer chase validation because you are learning to validate yourself. You no longer fear rejection because you understand that rejection is often divine redirection. You no longer cling to relationships out of fear of being alone because your spirit recognizes that solitude is sometimes sanctuary. This peace does not mean life becomes perfect. It means you become unshakable. There is a moment in every transformation when the old world begins to lose its grip and the new world begins to call. You are standing in that moment now. That is why certain things feel uncomfortable even though nothing dramatic has changed. Your soul is no longer aligned with what once felt familiar. You have outgrown the emotional wounds that shaped your reactions. You have outgrown the need for constant reassurance. You have outgrown the fear of starting again. You have outgrown the patterns that kept you small. Growth is silent, but the evidence becomes loud. But let me tell you something personal, something I learned through painful but holy experience. The closer you get to your next level, the more your old patterns try to pull you back. Not because you are weak, but because your subconscious remembers what was safe, even if it wasn't healthy. You may notice old insecurities resurfacing, old habits tempting you, old fears whispering again. This is normal. This is part of the shedding, but it does not mean you are regressing. It means you are crossing a threshold. Resistance is often proof of proximity to breakthrough. Anointed One, I want you to hear this. Without doubt, you are closer to your next season than you have ever been. Everything you've been sensing, the pressure, the exhaustion, the clarity, the spiritual hunger, is not coincidence. It is divine timing. Heaven is aligning the pieces. Your steps are being ordered. The atmosphere around your life is shifting. You are entering a spiritual acceleration where things that once took years will begin to unfold quickly. This is why you must remain centered. When God begins to elevate you, distractions rise as well. Some distractions come disguised as opportunities. Some look like people needing your help. Some appear as situations demanding your reaction. Do not be pulled out of alignment. Elevation requires focus. Purpose requires boundaries. Destiny requires discipline. Honor what God is doing in you by protecting your energy, your peace, and your time. Another sign of this transformation is the strengthening of your inner voice. You may notice that you are starting to speak to yourself with more compassion, more wisdom, and more truth. You are no longer repeating the scripts that came from fear or insecurity. Your inner dialogue is shifting from "I'm not enough" to "I am growing," from "I don't know what to do" to "I trust the guidance within me." That shift is not small, it is monumental, because your inner voice determines your spiritual direction. Chosen one, everything inside you is rising to meet the life you are stepping into. You are being refined, not rejected. Elevated, not emptied. Guided, not abandoned. The transformation happening tonight is real, purposeful, and holy, and the next stage will take you even deeper. Chosen one, as this transformation continues to unfold within you, I need you to understand something that most people overlook. Spiritual elevation always affects the physical realm. When heaven begins shifting your inner world, your outer world must adjust. This is why you may have noticed changes not just in your thoughts and emotions, but in your routines, your energy levels, even your body's responses. The spirit and the body are not separate in transformation, they are connected. When one rises, the other recalibrates. You might have felt sudden bursts of energy followed by periods of exhaustion. You might have sensed restlessness at night or an unusual need for silence during the day. You might have experienced changes in appetite, intuition, or physical tension. These are not random. These are signs that your entire being is synchronizing with a higher frequency. Think of it like adjusting to a new altitude. The higher you rise, the more your body must adapt to sustain that elevation. And right now, your spirit is pulling you upward faster than your old patterns can keep up. Chosen one, your body is learning to carry what your spirit has already embraced. This is why self-care is no longer optional, it's spiritual. You may feel called to rest more, to hydrate more, to nourish your body with things that feel clean, alive, and intentional. You may feel a natural pull away from toxic foods, toxic environments, or toxic habits. This is not a trend, it is divine intelligence guiding you. Heaven is teaching you how to become a vessel strong enough to contain the blessings and responsibilities that are approaching your life. And make no mistake, blessings are approaching your life. You are stepping into a season where your physical world will begin reflecting the inner work God has been doing quietly and patiently within you. People will notice the glow even before you notice it yourself. Opportunities will begin to align with you instead of you chasing them. You will find yourself attracting peace, provision, clarity, and favor in ways that feel supernatural. This is what happens when your inner world is aligned with divine intention. Your outer world rearranges itself to support your calling. But before the blessings manifest, the cleansing must complete. And cleansing is not always comfortable. Old energies are leaving your body. Old attachments are loosening. Old fears are surfacing so they can finally be released. You may feel this in your chest, your stomach, your sleep patterns. You may feel it emotionally in sudden waves or in quiet moments of reflection. This is not instability. This is detox. You are releasing years of spiritual residue from people you've carried, burdens you've held, and pain you've endured silently while still showing up for others. Chosen one, you have been strong for so long that you forgot what it feels like to breathe without pressure. But now that heaven is lifting the weight, your spirit is experiencing freedom you didn't know you needed. And with that freedom comes a clarity that can feel overwhelming at first. You begin seeing everything differently: your relationships, your habits, your patterns, your priorities. You begin asking questions that scare you and excite you at the same time. Questions like, who am I now? What do I really want? What truly matters? These questions are not signs of confusion, they are signs of awakening. Your identity is expanding, your purpose is maturing, your desires are purifying, and with this expansion comes a divine separation. A separation between what is aligned with your future and what belongs solely to your past. You may notice certain people drifting from your life without conflict. You may feel disconnected from environments that once felt comfortable. You may feel called to withdraw for a season to protect your spirit to hear more clearly. This is not isolation, it is consecration. When God prepares someone for greater purpose, He often pulls them away from noise so they can hear Him in clarity. Do not fear the quiet. It is holy. Many of the greatest shifts God initiates happen in silence, not in miracles, not in crowds, not in dramatic moments, but in private whispers. And right now, heaven is whispering to you, guiding you, refining you, strengthening you, preparing you. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel the movement. You can feel the shift. You can feel the old breaking away and the new forming inside you like dawn rising behind the mountains. Chosen. You're not just being awakened, you are being aligned. Alignment changes everything. When your inner world aligns with heaven, your outer world begins to accelerate. What once resisted you begins yielding. What once confused you becomes clear. What once took everything in you now flows effortlessly. This is the grace that follows obedience. This is the favor that follows surrender. This is the breakthrough that follows transformation. But with alignment also comes responsibility. You cannot return to what you have outgrown. You cannot shrink to fit the spaces you have surpassed. You cannot pretend you do not know what God has revealed. You must walk in the light you have received. If you do, heaven will open doors no man can shut. Chosen one. This is the season where everything begins to respond to your identity, not your circumstances. And you are rising into someone the world has not yet seen, but heaven has been preparing for a long time. And the next stage of your transformation will take you even deeper into what is being awakened. Chosen one, as this divine transformation reaches its next depth, something powerful is happening. In the unseen, heaven is positioning you for revelation. Not just any revelation, but the kind that reshapes identity, rewrites direction, and redefines purpose. This is the stage where your spirit begins to recognize truths your mind is only beginning to understand. You're not simply being healed, you're being re-instructed, reoriented, and realigned with the reason you were placed on this earth. One of the clearest signs that heaven is revealing deeper truth is the sudden sharpening of your inner voice. You may notice that the thoughts rising within you feel wiser, calmer, more grounded than before. You may feel nudges that guide you away from certain conversations, towards certain decisions, or into unexpected moments of silence. That is the Holy Spirit speaking through your intuition. That is spiritual maturity blossoming, and that is evidence that you are stepping into the next dimension of your calling. Chosen one. This is the season where you must learn to trust what you feel in your spirit, more than what you see with your eyes. Your physical reality may still look uncertain, but your spirit knows something is shifting. Breakthrough often begins as a whisper before it becomes a storm. Transformation often starts as a trembling before it becomes a rising. Do not doubt the small signs. They are the seeds of the miraculous. And with this new clarity comes something equally sacred: responsibility. When heaven reveals truth, heaven expects alignment. You can no longer pretend not to know what you now know. You can no longer return to environments that wound your spirit. You can no longer force relationships that drain you. You can no longer silence the inner voice that is guiding you. Elevation demands obedience to revelation. And obedience for you now is no longer optional, it is destiny's requirement. But I want to speak to the realness of this process as well. Awakening is not always clean. It is not always peaceful. It often brings waves of emotion that feel like contradiction. One moment you feel strong, the next moment vulnerable. One moment clear, the next moment raw. This is normal. When the soul sheds old narratives, it grieves even the pain it was once familiar with. You're letting go of identities you built to survive. You're releasing versions of yourself that protected you in past seasons. And even though you know you've outgrown them, part of you still feels the pull. This is not weakness, it is humanity, or chosen. Please hear this. Healing is not the absence of emotion. Healing is the ability to feel without collapsing. And you are learning that beautifully. You are no longer running from your emotions. You are observing them. You are learning from them. You are letting them pass through you instead of letting them define you. That is spiritual strength. That is emotional intelligence. That is maturity. And as this emotional clarity rises, something extraordinary follows: spiritual authority. You will begin to notice that your presence impacts the atmosphere around you. People respond differently. Opportunities arrive unexpectedly. Conversations shift simply because you have shifted. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. When your spirit stands in its true identity, the world around you adjusts. What once ignored you now recognizes you. What once resisted you now yields. What once frightened you now fears you. This is the power of becoming who God always said you were. But with authority comes another sacred truth. Isolation is part of the elevation. Not because you are meant to be alone, but because certain stages of growth require solitude. When God reveals something fragile, He often protects it until it is strong enough to stand. That is why you may feel distant from people who once felt close. Why you may desire quiet more than noise. Why your spirit may prefer stillness over socializing. You are not disconnecting, you are incubating. Heaven is strengthening what is emerging in you. Chosen one, you are stepping into a realm of spiritual clarity, emotional strength, and divine identity that will mark the rest of your life. Trust this stage, honor it, lean into it. Because what God is doing in you now is preparing you for what He is about to release through you. And what comes next will take you even closer to the breakthrough rising on the horizon. Chosen one, as you step into this final stage of your transformation, I want you to pause and recognize how far you've already come. What is happening within you now is not the beginning of change. It is the culmination of everything heaven has been preparing you for. This is where the internal becomes external. This is where the spiritual turns into tangible reality. This is where alignment becomes manifestation. The shift that formed in silence is about to announce itself with undeniable clarity. You may not see it fully yet, but the atmosphere around you has already changed. Doors that once felt impossible are loosening. Opportunities that seemed locked are quietly opening. People who once overlooked you will begin to notice what God has placed within you. Even challenges that once intimidated you will start bending under the weight of your new identity. This is divine emergence, the world responding to what heaven has awakened. Chosen one, this is the season where the prophetic becomes practical. All the healing, surrender, and inner breakthroughs have created a spiritual foundation inside you. Now, heaven is ready to build upon it. You will begin to see external confirmations of your internal transformation, unexpected favor, accelerated progress, sudden clarity, peace that feels supernatural. These aren't coincidences, they are signs your new chapter has begun. But with this rise comes readiness. You must step into what you prayed for with confidence, not hesitation. Many ask God for open doors, but shrink when the doors open. That will not be you. You are no longer the version of yourself that doubted your worth. You are no longer shrinking to keep others comfortable. You are no longer questioning what heaven has spoken over you. This is the season where you finally feel aligned with your calling. Part of readiness is recognizing the power in your presence. Your voice carries more weight now. Your intuition is sharper. Your boundaries are stronger. Your spirit is clearer. Some will be drawn to it. Others may feel unsettled by it. But your elevation is not up for negotiation. What heaven has begun cannot be undone. Chosen one. This next season requires intentionality, not perfection, but purpose. Choose environments that support your calling. Choose relationships that honor your growth. Choose habits that align with who you are becoming. Transformation isn't sustained by emotion, it's sustained by alignment. And in all of this, remember, grace surrounds you. You're not stepping into this season alone. The same God who awakened you, healed you, and reshaped you will walk with you into every opportunity and challenge. You don't need to force anything. What aligns with heaven will align with you. There is something else you must know. This new chapter will bring restoration. Not just spiritual restoration, but emotional and even financial restoration. Areas where you felt deprived will become places where you flourish. Seasons where you felt unseen will turn into seasons where your gifts shine. What was taken will be returned. What was delayed will be delivered. What was wounded will be healed. Chosen one, you are entering a season of divine recompense. Heaven is restoring what the journey demanded. Heaven is watering the seeds you planted. Heaven is honoring the battles you fought in silence. Heaven is elevating you to places your old self could not reach. And all of this is happening because you surrendered, because you endured, because you kept walking. As this stage of your transformation closes, a new one begins, a chapter where your life becomes living testimony of what God can do with someone who refused to quit. A chapter where you walk fully awake, fully aligned, and fully anointed. Chosen one, you are ready. The unveiling has begun, and heaven is not finished. It is just beginning. Chosen one. As we come to the end of this sacred encounter, I need you to rest in one unshakable truth. Something has already shifted in your spirit. Heaven has moved. The divine stirring you felt during this message was not imagination. It was activation. You are standing in your Kairos moment, your appointed time, the threshold where old limitations end and supernatural transformation begins. Anointed one, the transfer has already started. What God awakened in you tonight will not fade. It will rise. It will strengthen. It will guide you into the very places your spirit has been waiting to enter. You have been positioned, refined, and prepared, and now heaven is releasing what belongs to you. As you step forward from this moment, may clarity surround you. May peace anchor you. May the presence of God go before you, behind you, and within you. May every step you take be aligned with divine timing. May every door meant for you open effortlessly. May every weight fall away, and may your spirit stay sensitive to the whispers of the Holy Spirit, guiding your next move. Chosen one, lift your head. Your transformation is not coming, it has begun. Walk with reverence. Walk with expectancy. Walk knowing that heaven has placed something upon your life that cannot be stolen, delayed, or denied. You are stepping into a season where what you carry will speak louder than your words, and what God has ordained will manifest in ways that will leave you in awe. If this message stirred your spirit, let your declaration be simple: I receive this transformation. And if you desire to stay connected to words that align you with purpose, destiny, and divine truth, you are welcome to remain part of this sacred space. Until we meet again, chosen one, stay aligned, stay faithful, and stay open to the flow of heaven. Grace and peace be upon you.